The challenge in life is learning how to appreciate everything while not being overly attached to anything. Some things require us to give our all. Sing as if you don't need money, love as if you've never been hurt, and dance as if no one is watching. Your aspirations should come from the depths of your heart if you truly wish to achieve them. However, when we chase something too hard, it often runs away. This is true for small animals, people we love, and even money. Have you ever met someone wonderful on a random afternoon and they said, "I'll call you next week"? Then for the entire week, you didn't dare leave your phone, not even to go to the bathroom. You waited for their call, but every time the phone rang, it wasn't them. Or have you ever tried to urgently sell something like a car or a house? You lower the price, but no one shows interest. Why is that? The rule here is simple. When you're too desperate, the result is usually zero. Talk to any salesperson, whether they sell airplanes or laundry detergent, and they'll tell you the same thing. Desperation pulls you into a downward spiral. The more anxious you are, the less people want to buy from you. Imagine going to a restaurant and demanding your food be served immediately. Chances are, they won't rush to serve you. Whenever we're overly fixated on something, we inadvertently block its natural progression. So what's the opposite of this rule? Relax, and you'll reach your destination. You've been single for 1.5 years, feeling completely lonely and desperate. Finally, you give up and realize you don't need a partner to be happy. Being alone is fine. Suddenly, without looking for it, potential partners seem to come out of nowhere, vying for your attention. It's an age-old truth. What happens when you want someone to change their mind? Will they? Not likely. But if you stop pressuring them, they may eventually come around to your way of thinking. Whenever you desperately want something, whether it's for someone to call you, for your husband to quit smoking, for a promotion, or for your boss to acknowledge you, you create an energy that pushes those desires further away. Compare calmness to indifference. Calmness does not mean indifference. You can be calm and still determined. Those who are both calm and determined understand that excellent effort and truth will ultimately be rewarded. They believe that if they don't win this time, they'll win next time, or the time after that. For instance, imagine you're applying for a job at a hardware company. You're excited about the position and prepare thoroughly. You rehearse your interview answers, practice in front of a mirror, get a haircut, and even buy a new pair of shoes. You show up early for the interview and present yourself in the best possible way. What happens next? You go home and continue living your life. You study more, plan your next steps, and apply for other jobs. If the company hires you, great. If not, you keep moving forward. On the other hand, indifferent people might think, "Who cares? Why bother?" Desperate people might say, "If I don't get this job, I'll die." But if you're both calm and determined, you'll think, "No matter what, I'll find a good job. It doesn't matter how long it takes." Desire and wealth. Only those who think about money more than the rich are truly poor. Desire, when it becomes greed, is destructive. Why do people fight over money? Because money represents both survival and success. Nearly everyone needs it, even those who claim it doesn't matter to them. Unfortunately, our desires often turn everything upside down. The more we obsess over something, the less control we have over it. Most people who constantly think about money lose control over themselves. Calmness is the key reason why the rich get richer. They aren't overly concerned, so they don't fall into despair. If you lack money, you need to stay calm to figure out how to earn it. Once you have money, you need to feel at ease to save some and trust that more will come. There's also a significant difference in attitude between the poor and the rich regarding money. The poor want money, while the rich believe they'll earn it. How to avoid desperation? When you feel desperate, you need to take specific actions. It all comes down to your attitude. Never fall into the trap of thinking, "I need XYZ to be happy." For example, if you're selling your computer, waiting for a call, hoping for a promotion, trying to sink a golf ball, waiting for a check, or searching for a spouse. Stay calm. Do everything you can to make those things happen, but then tell yourself, I don't need this to be happy. Forget about it and move on with your life. Often, when you let go, things work out in the end. In both psychological and material terms, we must follow the laws of nature. Nature doesn't understand desperation. Nature demands balance, and you can't be both desperate and balanced at the same time. Life doesn't have to be an endless struggle. Let things unfold naturally. This isn't indifference, nor is it forced motivation. You might say, I don't understand how to make these things happen. But you don't need to understand gravity to live your life, do you? The challenge is to live according to principles we may not fully understand. Give if you want something. This may sound crazy, but you'll often receive more of what you want when you give some of it away. A farmer who wants more seeds plants them in the ground. If you want a smile, smile first. If you want passion, give your passion to others. When you help people, they'll help you in return. If you want others to give you money, share some of your money with those in need. Think about this. While expectations often block good things from coming into our lives, calmness does the opposite. When you give away something valuable, it often comes back to you. Some people say, I've given my whole life and received nothing in return. I don't think they've truly given. I think they've been keeping score. That's the difference. What about wealthy misers who never give anything to anyone? How many times have you heard stories about someone who lived frugally, ate scraps, and died with $1 million hidden under their mattress? Here's a question for you. If you only give to receive, what happens? True abundance isn't measured by your bank balance. It's about the flow of giving and receiving throughout your life. If you have a fortune locked away in a Swiss bank account that you never use, you'll never truly be wealthy. Theoretically, the money is yours, but practically, it's not benefiting you. Even this reflects the law of giving and receiving. In short, giving means giving without expecting anything in return. If you hope for something to come back, it means you're too attached to the outcome. And when you're attached, things rarely go your way. Should you enjoy your material possessions? Of course. Just make sure you own them, not the other way around. Over-attachment to love, for example, is the root of suffering. Mary, who desperately wants someone to love and admire her, may not find such a person. First, her desperation will push potential partners away. Second, her eagerness makes her less attractive. Loving someone means giving them the freedom to choose who they want to be with and where they want to be. Love is letting someone willingly stay in your life. The issue circles back to calmness. If you want something or someone, let it happen naturally. Attachment and aversion. We can't change anything without accepting it first. Hating something is a bad idea because it keeps you connected to it. For example, if you hate being in debt, you'll struggle to improve your financial situation. You'll spend so much energy hating your debt that you won't find a way out, leaving you drained and exhausted. But if you accept your debt and let go of self-criticism, you can move forward. Acceptance doesn't mean surrendering, it means understanding what's happening. Take another example. Before you acknowledge that you're overweight, you have two options. Either you admit you're overweight, or you hate yourself for it. In both cases, you remain overweight. You'll only start losing weight when you truly accept your situation. The Bible's saying, resist not evil, speaks to this. Anger and fighting won't solve your problems. You overcome what you dislike by accepting it and replacing it with something positive. Why do we need positive thinking? Imagine you're on a plane flying over Europe, and suddenly one of the engines falls off. How do you want the pilot to react? Would you rather hear them calmly announce, "Please stay seated and fasten your seatbelts. We're experiencing a minor issue, but we'll find a way to land safely." Or see them running up and down the aisle screaming, "We're all gonna die"? Which pilot is more likely to land the plane safely? Now think about your daily life. where you're the pilot of your own journey. Which approach is more likely to solve your problems? Calmly thinking, we'll find a way to land safely, or panicking, we're all going to die? This is the essence of optimism. Optimism doesn't guarantee success, but it gives you the best chance of succeeding. Failures often focus on what's impossible until they see nothing but impossibilities around them. Optimists, on the other hand, focus on what's possible and make things happen. Positive thinking guides your subconscious mind, shaping your habits and behaviors over time. The power of subconscious thinking. The subconscious mind is a collection of all our thoughts. The thoughts we repeat most often shape the strongest habits and behaviors within our subconscious. To better understand the impact of positive thinking, let's imagine our brain is divided into two layers: the conscious mind, the upper layer, and the subconscious mind, the lower layer. The conscious mind consists of all the thoughts that arise in us daily. Meanwhile, the subconscious mind contains various programs. Some of these programs are innate, like breathing or digestion, while others are created over time, like walking or talking. Now, imagine you're learning to drive a car. Every time you approach a turn, your conscious mind might think, okay, lift your right foot, move it 12 centimeters to the left, and gently press the brake pedal. For months, these conscious thoughts guide your actions each time you need to slow down or make a turn. Eventually, without realizing it, these thoughts become an automatic program in your subconscious. One day, you find yourself braking at a turn without thinking about it. Your subconscious has taken over. At this point, you've created a new subconscious program. Once this program is in place, you can drive for hours without consciously thinking about every action. You might even get home and think, I don't remember driving here. That's because your subconscious was in control. Repetition shapes the subconscious. Any thought repeated over time becomes a subconscious program. But what happens if you've spent years thinking, I'm always broke? You've essentially hypnotized yourself into believing this. And without realizing it, you act in ways that perpetuate your financial struggles. What about positive thinking? It's simple. We have about 50,000 thoughts each day. For many people, most of these thoughts are negative. I've gained weight. My memory is terrible. I don't have enough money to pay my bills. Or, I can't do anything right. With such a high volume of negative thoughts, how do you think your subconscious will respond? It will adopt these negative patterns, leading to behaviors that sabotage your life and health without you even realizing it. Some people wonder why they remain poor or unhappy, but they've unknowingly created mechanisms within themselves that lead to these outcomes through repeated negative and pessimistic thoughts. Positive thinking takes discipline and time. Changing your mindset is like building physical strength. It takes consistent effort. If you do 20 push-ups and immediately check the mirror for results, you won't see any changes. Similarly, thinking positively for one day won't transform your life. But if you discipline your thoughts over several months, you'll start to see changes in your attitude and life, often more visibly than physical changes from exercise. The case of Fresh, for example. He decides to attend a seminar on positive thinking and vows to change his life before Monday morning. He sets a list of ambitious goals: getting a promotion, buying a Rolls Royce, and purchasing the Taj Mahal. But by Friday, he's back to his old negative thoughts, saying, this positive thinking stuff doesn't work. Fresh might have reduced his daily negative thoughts from 48,000 to 47,500. But he wonders why he hasn't won the lottery, cured his arthritis, or stopped arguing with his wife. Positive thinking for one day won't yield miracles. Building a positive mindset. Developing a positive mindset is a lifelong process. It's challenging because we often don't realize when we're being negative or pessimistic. If you want to check your thoughts, examine your life, your prosperity, Happiness, relationships, and even your health reflect the quality of your conscious thoughts. Fresh might say, I think the way I act because my life is terrible. But the truth is, his life is terrible because he thinks and acts the way he does. Thoughts lead to results. If there's something in your life you dislike, stop worrying and complaining about it. The energy you spend on these negative emotions only sustains the problem. Stop feeding it and it will fade away. A practical example. Family arguments. Imagine your husband comes home in a bad mood, itching for an argument. If you refuse to engage, what happens? He can't argue with himself. Whenever you focus on or fear something, it seems like everyone around you starts talking about it. For example, when I was a child, I noticed that every time I secretly smoked one of my dad's cigarettes, my mom would inexplicably want to kiss me goodnight that same day. Once you truly let go of something in your mind, it often disappears. This leads to another principle. Let go of the burden to lighten your load. Stop justifying yourself. As long as you keep justifying yourself, others will continue to criticize you. Why? Because we only defend ourselves when we're unsure of our position. For instance, imagine your paranoid neighbor accuses you of being an alien from Mars. Would you argue with him about alien life forms? Of course not. You know you're not from Mars, so you just laugh it off. Now, imagine you're the target of office gossip. If you try to defend yourself or prove your innocence, you're only adding fuel to the fire. Instead, ignore it, and the rumors will eventually die down. The more we resist or dwell on something, the more it persists. Focus on what you support, not what you oppose. If your life becomes a battle against certain things, those things will push back even harder. Instead of fighting against something, focus on supporting what you believe in. Our perspective shapes our relationships. Fresh and Mary go on their first date. Fresh wants them both to feel comfortable and have a good time. When Mary spills sauce on her dress, Fresh says, "Don't worry, I'll help you clean it up." When Mary loses her house key, Fresh reassures her, "It's okay, I lose my keys all the time." 3 years later, they're married. They go out to dinner, and Mary spills sauce on her dress again. This time, Fresh snaps, "You're so clumsy." When Mary forgets her keys, Fresh retorts, "Your brain is like mush." The same people, the same situations, but entirely different attitudes. We choose how we see others. When we like someone, we're more forgiving of their flaws. But when we want to be annoyed with someone, we focus on their faults. It's not their behavior that determines how we see them, it's our attitude. Most of us focus more on people's weaknesses than their strengths. Mary, for instance, has 2 mental lists about Fresh. The first is her husband list, a short list of Fresh's annoying habits. The second is her boyfriend list, a long list of Fresh's good qualities, his generosity, humor, strength, and reliability. During their marriage, Mary mostly focuses on the husband list, the few things that irritate her, like Fresh leaving newspapers on the breakfast table or forgetting to put the toilet seat down. One day, Fresh is tragically hit by a truck. Overnight, Mary switches to the boyfriend list, remembering him as a kind, hardworking, and wonderful husband. If we're going to make lists like this, why not reverse their order? Focus on what you love about someone while they're still in your life, and when they're gone, remind yourself of the things that annoyed you, like how they snored loudly at night. Gratitude in relationships. Can you name a truly happy person who is ungrateful? Probably not. Every spiritual teaching encourages gratitude because it benefits us. When we express gratitude for what we have, we feel richer and attract more good things into our lives. Gratitude and the belief that life will bless you are far more powerful than logic or financial management skills. In conclusion, life rewards calmness, gratitude, and balance. Desperation and negativity only push what we want further away. By focusing on what we appreciate and staying open to possibilities, we align ourselves with the natural flow of life. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who might need it. Thank you, and see you in the next lesson.